Hey, what's up, guys? This is Chepe. Today I'll be demonstrating on how to do a flat top. So I already did the 0 on the sides with the half guard up to where that dark line is at. So now I'm working it with the number 2 guard on my Oster 76. With this step here, what you want to do is you kind of want to angle the blade. You take it about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, up to about the corner there. Kind of angle the blade. You don't want to go straight in. You kind of want to give it that square effect on the sides. So just, you know, the two, I find it easier to blend all out with the flat tops. On any other kind of haircut, I usually use the number 3, but for flat tops, the 2 is perfect. So like I said, just, kind of bring it up kind of high. The flat top is going to be straight up. So number 2 ain't too crazy if you go high with it, as long as you can still get that straight wall. All right, for this next step, I'll be using the 1/16 guard closed and just pretty much tapering out the bottom of that dark line. You can see right here, I'm kind of going straight into the number 2, just trying to get that bulk out with that dark line. So go ahead and do the step all the way around. Just make sure not to go too high. All right, so here's a little better view from the front. You kind of see what I mean by keeping it straight, kind of like a wall. All right, you're gonna angle it in a little bit, but with the comb. You don't want to dig too deep with the clipper. So you guys get the idea. You just go all the way around with the 16th here, and the next step is half guard. Just taking out dark spots. All right, so now I'm gonna apply a little bit of gel, just to get that hair to stand up after I blow dry it. This is pretty important here. If you don't do this step, you're gonna have a hard time getting that hair nice and flat on the corners especially. All right, so I like to start with the comb here right on the crown area, just kind of start blending that in. You're gonna go straight into it, so don't be scared to take this high. You wanna get that transition nice and blended. So just keep you comb in, and then you start tapering it at an angle here on the right back corner. So just take your time on this process here. I'm gonna speed it up here just because it takes a little while, but I take my time on this. You gotta make sure your angle's right. That way, when you come trim the top, you don't have to go and fix a bunch of stuff. So just get that angle right. You can really see here I'm going pretty slow, so you guys can see the hair I'm actually cutting is barely anything. But what I'm doing is I'm barely tapering it in to keep that same angle, while at the same time trying to blend it in. So this takes a lot of practice. I mean, this is what I'm doing this for, so I could help you guys out. Little tricks here. All right, so I'll freeze it there so you guys can see the walls go straight up. Now I get to start working on the actual flat part on top. So here, I'm gonna show you guys how I start my first cut right from the center. Don't be scared to cut. Remember, the front should be a little higher than the back. You want to work your way gradually to the crown area. Once you start getting to the crown area, you can start pressing down a little bit more on the comb. But, take your time on this. This is very important right here. See, you just put the comb in, pull it up a little bit, and then you angle it down to the actual crown area. And that crown area will be with the comb completely down on the head. You can see here I'm working on one side of the head first. I know it looks uneven right now, but you got to start somewhere. So I start on this side, and eventually work my way to the other side right here. But this is how I round off the edges a little bit. You know, this is a round flat top. I don't like flat tops that go straight up and have a corner all the way around. You got to kind of smooth out them corners on the back. All right, so here I'm gonna start working on the other side, and remember, you gotta start from the front to the back. I mean, there's many different ways of doing this, but this seems to be my favorite way of doing flat top, and I do all my flat tops the same. So you gotta round out the corners a little bit. You can't I mean, you can, but I don't like leaving corners. All right, so now I turn them around, and from this angle, I have a better. It's easier for me, I should say, to round off the corners and fine blend the whole flat top in together. You see here, I have my flat top comb kind of at an angle, same shape as the head. I start pulling up on it as I get to the front here. All right, so after a while of messing with it and trying to blend it all in, now I'll just freehand it and trying to smooth out whatever's sticking out really. Um, this is kind of a, you know, make it or break it here. You just gotta make sure you have a steady pulse when you do this. And all I'm doing is working the edges here. Whatever sticks out, just freestyle it if you can, you know.
And the last thing she does, she slaps you
Just
on the
gonna
back of the
little
head.
touch-ups here, you know.
Nice cut.
Remember, it's about quality, you know. This flat top took about 25 minutes.
Can't all be
It's just
pleasure.
about quality. For me, it's about quality, you know.
She says just to wake you up.
So, I mean, I could call it done here, but, you know, you just got to go double check that it's, you know, flat. The edges are all matched up, and, you know, there's no rush to it. Here, what I'm doing is just taking my number one guard and, you know, working on the little blend a little bit. Now that I took the comb to it, it changes the original fade, so you got to go in there and touch it up a little bit. You see those dark areas that I'm lightening up a little bit. Like I said, don't get stuck in one spot. You always come back and fix it. All right, so here's a little angle from the top. You see it's super short on the crown area. And that's it, guys. That's how you do a flat top. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Make sure your bell's on for notifications. Thank you. Chepa's Barbershop.